Man United 4, Bournemouth 4. What a chaotic game of football. This team just, you can't know what to expect from this team. They score 4 goals at home, but then concede 4 goals at home, and it's always chaos because how do you concede 38 seconds into the second half? They just come back into the second half. They are leading 2-1, so you think they'll be concentrated. They just control the game for the first 15 minutes. You make sure you starve Bournemouth out of the ball, and you can win that game. But immediately 30 seconds into the second half, they concede a goal. So this is not good enough. It was a good game of football for the neutral, but for a home fan, it was chaotic. You don't have control at home, and this is now the third game at home where we are losing points needlessly. We lost points against Everton, we lost points against West Ham, and now we have lost points against Bournemouth. All three teams that were in poor form before coming to Man United, they were not doing that well, and having to lose points this way is not good enough. So into the game, Lamens actually had a good game overall because he made 2-3 good saves that were almost going in. So he might have done better for the free kick, but of all the other goals, then you look at them and you see he could have, he kept us in the game. Hopefully, even won us the game in the end. So Lamens, I'd give him a 7 over 10. Euro didn't have one of his best games. The defense in general, even though the midfield was not protecting them, they didn't have a good game. So Euro, I'll give him a 6 over 10. Heaven could have done better for the 2 goals. I think he's waiting too much. He's not going to attack the player. So in fact, in the first goal, when Semenyo is just coming, and Heaven is backtracking. He's a young lad. He learned from it. He continue learning with experience. So you can't really hold that much against him. But in this game, he didn't have one of his best games, so he had a 5 over 10. Shaw had one of his poorest games. That first goal, when we were very much in control of the game, if we continue controlling that game, if we just plays the ball well, then we don't concede from that game. He conceded. He had a bad touch that led to the Bournemouth player getting the ball running and scoring. Semenyo scoring. He also did not have do well defensively. Now the other goals, so that's a 5 over 10. Dalot, he regressed from the other previous games. He's had very good games, but this was not one of his good games. So a 5 over 10 for Dalot. Ahmad still holds on to the ball too much. He did well with his goal. He scored a very good goal. He was in the right spot, but there are two other times where he could have been on the right spot, but he wasn't. This game, he was good and also not that good in the overall, so a 6 over 10 is an average game. Miro was, in my opinion, one of our best players. In that first half, he played very well in terms of the goal he scored, the assist he made for Ahmad, the yellow card he took because he had to stop the Bournemouth player. Not that we conceded from that game, but we shouldn't have conceded because the wall just broke open and that caught Lamens by surprise. But overall, in terms of the game, the minutes that he was there, he did what he could. He so can't really mark the midfield on his own. Bruno was getting out of position, so that midfield was left open and he can't cover it on his own. Yeah, you see his legs have gone, but still he makes an impact in this team. Bruno had a 7 over 10. He had a goal and an assist. So attacking wise, he was very good, but defensively, there's a problem when he plays in midfield. We are cut through like a knife through butter. Every time when Bruno plays in the midfield, there's a problem. Mbeumo had a 4 over 10, one of his worst games as a Man United player. There's nothing that he did that came off. He was making bad passes. He was not finishing well. He was caught in the wrong positions. He in the crosses that were coming in, sometimes he was not in the right position. So there was so many things that he did wrong today, and this was not one of his best performances. So he gets a 4 over 10. Mount had a very good 25 minutes. Mostly the first half he was good, then he disappeared in the second half. He didn't have a good game. Give him a 6 over 10. Cunha scored. It's time he scored, but he was linking up well with Mbeumo through the game, but he could have done more for some of his opportunities. He gets a 6 over 10. Sesko came on and had a very almost an immediate impact, putting in a cross that the defender tried to clear but fell to Cunha for score. So he showed why we still need him, because in most games where Zaxi plays, he never has such an impact. He might have scored the goal against Crystal Palace that was came from a free kick, but in most cases in normal play, you don't get that much impact from Zaxi. Even when he came on in this game, you couldn't feel the impact of him being in the team. Martinez came on, played well, but One of the goals that were conceded, he wasn't sharp enough to the man that was in front of him. I think he's rusty. He's not much fit. He's not doesn't have that much sharpness, and not being able to understand Krupi was in front of him. I think it was Krupi who scored the goal. That was a mistake on his part. Maino was a 6 over 10. I think so from the moment he came in, he was our best player. He controlled the game. In fact, we had better possession when he was there. If you consider that he came in when we were losing and we ended up getting a draw, so we won from the point that he came on. He played well. You just wonder why he's not playing more, because we need control in midfield, and Bruno in midfield is not working currently. Dogu came on. He didn't have do anything of note, not much, but he came on for the few minutes. Zaxi, so I just give them a 5 over 10, which is an average. If you look at that game overall, that game we should have won. There is no way you should be scoring 4 goals at home and losing and drawing a game, because conceding 4 goals at home is unacceptable. But that is a result of a midfield that's not working. The midfield too is not working because we are so open in the midfield. We don't have the midfielders for it, and it's time that Ruben Amorim considers that that should not be used anymore. In terms of the attacking output, if you look at this game, we had 25 total shots, 18 chances created, 9 shots on target, six shots of target. So generally, we played well in terms of the chances created. Some of them could have been taken better, but Bournemouth also played well because they had 14 shots, 10 shots created, but they created better chances because they had 9 shots on target. So we had equal shots on target despite having 9 more chances created. That shows the creation of chances. We are not creating as clear-cut chances as our opposition was. But once again, every time they went forward, they almost seemed like scoring. It's something that has been a problem because we give away the first. We had around 5 chances before they had their first one, and with the first one they scored. They also did the same with after the first half. Their first chance they got, they scored. Their second chance they got, they scored. So it shows there's a dysfunction in terms of how this team defends. And one of the biggest issues that affects this team how it defends is the midfield. Bruno is not a midfielder, and he just drags himself. He just loses control and goes back to the 10 position. So he's more concentrated in attack, and every time he's concentrated in attack and the ball, we lose the ball, then the midfield is completely open. So the defenders, I pity the defenders, because if you look at the chances they have to defend, most of them are not coming from them from the wing. They are just coming from them through the middle. So it's confusing, because if you step out, then another pass will go to another player and they can get in. So it's very difficult because the midfield is not protecting the defense as much as it should. In terms of the defensive play, we had 14 tackles to their 12 tackles, 55 duels won to their 60, so they won more duels than us. So generally it was 50-50. We had to make more of the clearances, and the reason why we had to make more of the clearances, we were so open, so it was chaotic football from the first minute all the way to the last minute. We had to defend, yeah, and attack at the same time, but it seemed like we were giving them more chances than we should while at home. Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, had the better game. That is in attack. In defense, not so much. As a center midfielder, you are supposed to be able to do both parts of the game. But in terms of the duels, he won 15 duels. Passes in the opposition half, there were 38, 7 long passes and 1 goal. He also had an assist. But if you look at this game all over, you realize that in as much as he was contributing in attack, he wasn't contributing quite enough in defense. In terms of, sometimes you just have to control the game, not many long balls, and just keep the balls short, keep passing, be in the right position when you're supposed to be, break the lines, break them when they're trying to attack. But the midfield today was such too open. This draw takes us to 6th. We could have gone 5th with a win. We are equal in points with the fifth placed Crystal Palace, but they have 1 better goal difference than us. Chelsea is 2 points ahead of us, so we are 2 points away from top 4. But these are very many opportunities that are coming, but we are losing them. We had a chance against Forest, against Spurs, against Everton, against West Ham, but we are keep losing opportunities. And when the second half of the season comes, you never know if you'll get the same opportunities again. So we should have been building up a lead that should take us comfortably into the top 4, because we are playing 1 game a week. And if we are playing 1 game a week, then we have to have the energy levels that shows that we can win games. not only win games but win them comfortably. We should be defending better, but the experience in midfield of a two type pivot midfield is not doing enough for the team. It's putting us actually in a bad situation because every time teams know they just have to go through the middle. You have to make your opportunities harder to get because there's no way you can people just stroll through the middle and go and attack your defense. At least push them wide, making sure that most of the chances that they'll try they'll be from wide positions, and if they're trying most of their chances from wide positions, they are not going to get as many clear cut chances, and you can win games because you're leaving them to at least 1 or 2 goals. Yes, there were key players missing such as Delete. Heaven is inexperienced, and inexperience shows. Heaven and Euro, no one could lead the other. Euro is 19, Heaven is 18. So the two of them were young in the centre back roles, and they couldn't really lead each other, and those mistakes were happening because of that. Martinez came in, he's also rusty. So these are going to be problems that you can have when all over the season. But if you have such players, one thing you have to do is to have your solid midfield. If the midfield is solid, then these chances don't come along as much as they did. So that was the game for us. It was a 4-4. We are just have to take the draw. It could have been worse. It could have been a loss. Lamens pulled off two very good saves in the end. Actually, we were fighting for our lives instead of being able to comfortable. Considering we went 2-1 in the first 25 minutes, we were better, much better. Mbeumo could have done better with the chances that come his way. In another day, we win this game even 5-7-4, but the amount of chances you are conceding are too much. In 16 games you have conceded 26 goals, and that is not good enough because those are far too many goals to concede. We have scored the second most goals in the league, just after Man City, but we are conceding some of the biggest goals. In fact, the difference between Aston Villa and Man United around 10 goals. Chelsea also, there's a difference of 10 goals conceded, so you can't uh, progress very well if you are doing that. You can have a level of attack that is very good, but if you don't equally defend well, then you are going to land into such games that you are never really sure where which way they'll go, because one way you are in ascendancy, you are pressing the team, the other minute you are conceding very easy goals. So this was a 4-4. We go into the Aston Villa game without Mbeumo, Mazraoui and Cunha. Mbeumo, Mazraoui and Ahmad, they are going to AFCON. So we are losing 3 players to AFCON. We won't have Casemiro. Casemiro was yellow carded, so he misses the next game. We'll have to start Mino in that one. Mino was very good when he came on, so I was impressed by how he played the game. So let's see what happens in the next Aston Villa game. They are a team in form. But I think some of these games are the ones we win. If we are playing away, we are playing very well away. And if we can win that game, then that will be a statement. The statement made. Hopefully, we can continue into the other games because we have two difficult games against Newcastle, against Aston Villa, as we have losing players to AFCON. But I think the rest of the games we can manage with the squad we have. So let's see what happens in the next game. Until then, see you in the next one.